Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. I'm really excited about this. You can see I got my TRMs out here. That's because this is a box from TRM. Let's open it up. Please subscribe to the channel. Go look down there, make sure you are subscribed. And then like the video too, please. If you would. Oh man, I'm excited. So, I saw that they had started releasing this, the Bulldog. This is the Bulldog, folks. Their new design, their new folding knife design. I tried one briefly at the Atlanta Blade Show, and just really briefly, so I didn't really get a chance to really get a feel for it at all. Oh, no way. That's freaking cool. Thanks, guys. And a pen. Hell yeah. So I'm really excited to really look at it. Honestly, I can't even remember anything about it. Besides the fact it had a crossbar lock and was a little smaller than the Shadow. That's really all I remember about it. So I'm really excited. I didn't pay for this. I hit them up and said, hey, would you be willing to lend me a Bulldog for me to check out? They said, we'll go ahead and send you one and you can keep it and do a test and all that stuff. So thank you so much, Hillary and all you guys over at TRM. You guys, you treat the community so well, and it's really it's noticed, and we thank you for that. Don't take me apart. Alrighty, we got the sticker, and here she is. Peel Ply G10. Let's take this in for a minute. Typical TRM clip. Actually, hold on, let me get this box out of the way. Is it the same clip? No, not the same clip. Same clip? Yeah, same clip as the Shadow, okay. It's inset in there, down into the G10. TRM's clips work really well. Look at that perfect centering. And this is thicker blade stock, look at this. This is the thickest blade stock I've ever seen from TRM. I mean, it's still thin. Well, I guess it's kind of average. I guess it's probably pretty average. The Shadow and the Neutron, the Atom are all very thin. Those three knives all have the same blade stock thickness, which is, I believe, 98 thousandths or 89 thousandths, about 90 thousandths. That's the same blade stock, Shadow, Atom, and Neutron 2. The Bulldog here, we go up to 119 thousandths. So it's still on the thin side for regular pocket knives, but it's thicker. So that makes me think this might be a little bit of maybe a heavier duty kind of thing. I don't know. So we got the reverse flick hole. Let's go ahead and do it. Yeah, look at that. You know, TRM's blade shapes are so good, and they're kind of almost like the signature thing. At least, I mean, this Shadow is a little different, but like the Atom and the Neutron, very similar. Look at that. It's such a good blade shape. This one, you know, it is a little different, but definitely similar. It's so good, man. It's got a really low tip. It's kind of like a pointy spear point kind of thing. Almost a Spyderco-esque blade shape. Ooh, that's smooth. Yeah, okay. Ergos feel really good. It's definitely... Whoa, 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 whoa! It's thicker this way. Is it thicker than the Shadow? No, about the same. Definitely thicker than the Neutron. And you can feel that gripping it. It like fills out your hand really nice. Got a nice choke up spot. The way they do the choke up spot on the Neutron and the Atom, it's not really like a groove sort of choil thing. It's more of just like a lack of that, where you can get all the way right up close to the edge. It's more of like a defined area, like on the Shadow. See, it's a little smaller than the one on the Shadow, but it's a smaller knife, so that makes sense. I can get my finger really nicely and comfortably in there. If you had like fatter fingers than I do, you might be a little crammed in that choke up spot, possibly. For me, it's perfect. It's interesting. This is like a straw color, this steel here. I'm guessing, is that on purpose or is that just from like the heat treatment? Looks like it's all like the whole thing. That whole piece in there. Looks like it's like almost bronzed. That's interesting. MagnaCut blade steel. Really smooth. Yeah, that feels pretty darn good. Can I thumb flick this? Yeah. Not super easy, but it's doable for sure. Yeah, the leverage is not great. Reverse flick, definitely good. You know, it's a crossbar lock, so it's not going to have a snappy detent like something with a detent ball would. The Shadow is, it's a crossbar lock, so you can fail it, you know. It's not super snappy. They're just, crossbar locks just aren't like that. At least the vast majority of them. So I wasn't expecting this to be super snappy, but, you know, for crossbar locks, this does feel good. Like as far as crossbar locks go. Easy to snap the blade out. Really easy to slow roll too. I actually kind of like that even better, honestly. Little lock stick. That'll more than likely disappear. The Shadow had it a little bit when I first got it, and it's completely gone. Is this on washers? These might be bearings. Is it bearings? Yeah, it's got to be bearings. Look at that. Okay, so that's a big difference. The Shadow is on washers. So, you know, I mean, it's pretty hydraulic. But there's a little blade play. Let me tighten that out and see what we got here. Yeah, it's one of those ones where you kind of got to flick it shut with your wrist, you know, give it some oomph. Because it's washers. This is bearings. That's why it's so smooth. Look at this. Yeah, that's definitely washers. Is this the first time they've ever used washers on a knife? I mean, the Nerd is washers. Atom's washers. Neutron 2 is washers. Shadow is washers. So unless they have some other like coming soon knife or one that I'm not aware of, this is their first knife on bearings. Really cool. The G10 feels really nice. Like it feels like quality G10. You guys know what I mean? Like some G10 you get from like maybe a Chinese made knife. Sometimes their G10 just feels like more plasticky than G10y. You guys know what I mean? This feels really like G10. Like it feels good. The peel ply is really nice. It's not too grippy, but it's still grippy. The large backspacer I really like. That's made out of G10 as well. Looks like kind of geared in there. Does the Shadow? Okay, yeah, the Shadow just has a plain one with no. Actually, you know what? That's not even a backspacer. That's part of this the show side scale. You can see there's only one seam runs right there. That's interesting. So, yeah, and the Atom and Neutron do not have backspacers. The tabs that you grip on the side of these, you know, they call it the river lock. It's just a crossbar lock, but they call it the river lock. The tabs that you grab on either side of the river lock are really nice. They poke out from the surface of the scale, but not too much. Just enough to be able to easily grab it. I feel like they stick out a little further on the Shadow. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit further. You know, so the Shadow is amazing. I love the Shadow so much. It has this beautiful pivot. Look at that thing. Absolutely beautiful pivot. The Shadow will always be special to me. It's just a special knife. You should watch my review on it because there's a lot of really cool details on this knife that I'm not going to go into right now. But there's things about this knife that you wouldn't notice just looking at it in a video unless someone was pointing it out to you. Or maybe you own one and you've looked at it really carefully, you might know. But this is a special knife. this is one of my favorite of all time knives. The Neutron 2, I think, is in my top 5 best EDC knives of all time. And this particular one in the lizard skin titanium is unbelievable. It is insanely smooth on these washers. The detent is just snappy, perfectly centered. I freaking love this thing. I will never, ever, ever let this out of my collection, ever. I'm not sure if I'm going to get that same sort of really special feeling with this one. It's going to take time to see. You know, it doesn't have the cool pivot like the Shadow does. It doesn't have some of these cool details that the Shadow does. You know, we have like these milling lines in the Shadow. One of the cool things is there's like these kind of like almost what do you want to call that, fluting that starts back here but then slowly fades into nothing up here. And the front of the knife, you can hardly even really see it, but it's there. You can see it more on this rounded edge here. This doesn't. It's just flat peel ply. You know, these are more contoured on the Shadow. But even as I'm just holding it right now and messing with it, it's already growing on me. I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited to cut test it. The edge is insanely sharp. Jeez. Yeah, I'm like barely touching the edge with my finger, with the tips of my fingers, and it's already biting in. TRM puts such sharp edges on their knives. It's crazy. That's wild. This should do really well in the cut test, you know. Let's check behind the edge. It doesn't feel crazy thin. Let's see here. It's a wide edge bevel too. 18 thousandths. We got 18 there. Up at the tip. Goes up to about 20, 21 maybe. So pretty average, you know. I think that's about the same as these others. The Neutron might be a little thinner behind the edge, but I know the Shadow is about 20 thousandths. Yeah, the Neutron 2 is thinner. It's like 12. So the geometry is going to be more similar to the Shadow than the Neutron or the Atom. But this is still going to slice well. It just is. You know, you can just tell looking at it. But, you know, stay tuned for the cut test video, and we'll see for sure. Yeah. The Bulldog. Is it about the same as the Neutron? Yeah, almost exactly the same size as the Neutron. So if you've always liked the Shadow, but maybe you wanted something a little smaller, something that you could more easily reverse flick, you know, instead of having the thumb studs. Maybe you like crossbar locks more than liner locks. This could be a really good option for you. Made in the USA. Magna cut, heat treated to, I think they do it to 62, 63. It might be 63. But it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. My Shadow's in 20 CV, which is also really good. So there we go. Very exciting, man. Their first knife on bearings, and I think they did a really good job. Yeah, it's smooth. The action, as far as the detent feeling, is as far as, like I said, as far as crossbar locks go, it's pretty good. Ergo's really good. Yeah, a little more heavy duty, I think, than something like the Neutron that is a very similar size. So it's almost like a more heavy duty Neutron 2 in a way. Very similar blade shape, but thicker in all dimensions. And you got the crossbar lock, which I think is probably a stronger locking mechanism than a liner lock. Crossbar locks are really strong. So there you go. So cool, man. I can't wait to get this in the pocket. It's going to cut so good, man. Look how low this tip comes down. Like the arc of this knife, how the handle kind of arcs and then down, way down here to the tip. Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to do such good utility cuts, man. Holy crap. All right. That's it. Thanks for watching. Please like the video before you head out. I'd appreciate it. See y'all later.